Beep, beep. Ba-doop. Hey, folks.
We really got to work on an intro.
We'll get to it.
We
Don't
gotta
worry about
work
it.
on
But in
an
any
intro.
case, welcome back. Let's get this show on the road. I know we're a little late. My apologies. So we got everybody here, and let's go ahead and introduce our special guest of the evening, Mr. Dewayne Ramsey.
Hey, everybody.
We can see your excitement. You're
Yes.
ready.
Looks
You're
like
on, you're on the hot seat, my friend. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So to get things started, we're actually going to switch things up a little bit, right, Tim?
Sure.
Go ahead.
What?
The Wheel of Misfortune.
The wheel. I thought you were going to usually spin it. You can't spin it
No,
tonight?
no, no. Do the introduction. You set it up, and then I spin.
Okay, so the Wheel of Misfortune, if you guys don't know, now you're going to know because wheel has our names on the outside minus Ben. What?
Yeah.
You didn't even let me finish.
Yeah, you gotta let them talk.
So it
You're
has.
like Aaron Losey.
Oh. Oh, wow. Hashtag shut your mouth. Okay, so it has our names on the outside. The first spin, we'll pick a name. And then at the next spin, we'll pick one of the punishments in the center. We have Judge's Choice. Have the Vampire Challenge. We have Brush Your Teeth with Wasabi. No Pee Water Challenge. Yeah, the Wasabi one's not. That's not going to be fun. I don't know. I just made it up. So I'm a welder bro, vampire, some other challenges. So we are going to spin it and get going.
Yes, indeed.
Ben, are you ready?
All right.
I'm going to get out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, Dwayne gets to see it too.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, whatever. Here we go. It's spinning. It's spinning. It's spinning. It's spinning. It's spinning. Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Timmy. Okay, all right. And it's spinning again. Well, maybe it is the judge's choice.
Shock.
What is it? Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
It's not me.
Man.
Oh God.
Okay. So,
I feel nervous for Tim.
oh, boy. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, no. Oh, man. That's rough.
Well, I'm going to put it on my right arm, and I'm going to put it on and I'm just going to hold my hand like this. Whoa, 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 whoa. And then every time it shocks me, I'll just punch Noel in the head.
So while we get started, and I'm gonna go ahead and probably try to find a keyword that Dwayne uses to sort of shock him. We'll see what happens. But in any case, Dwayne, I'm curious to set the mood. How did you get started in drifting?
Woo. Are y'all ready? It's kind of a long story. So,
Okay.
2006 is when I started drifting. My family was in the military, so I moved to Japan like when I was 16 and started getting into the car scene there and began going to Ebisu Circuit and doing toge runs in the mountains and stuff like that. And drifting kind of just took over basically. And then in 2009, I left Japan and moved to Florida and kind of started building a car there and, went street drifting, and I don't recommend that. It's terrible. But, and then started traveling and doing drift events all over the place, basically. And after 2009, so.
What part of Florida? I'm curious.
So when I left Japan, I moved back to where I was born, which is northwest Florida. So like Panama City area.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
the nicer area.
Yeah. And then it's actually, my family actually lives maybe an hour from Emerald Coast Dragway where Klutch Kickers is held. So
Nice.
Yep. I'm actually, from the area. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome.
So living in Japan, so I'm just waiting for a shock, right? Because I can get shocked
Oh, man.
randomly. Ben has the shocker, right? So I don't know
wait.
when I'm getting shocked.
Oh, you haven't
And
even tested it.
Yeah, test it for me. I got to just at least so I know what to expect.
All right, hang on. Just for verification purposes.
I am so
because
sorry that cut you off, but
Yeah, because Tim, I mean, I'm sorry, Noel last time was saying, alleging that I raised the power. So it's on 15, right?
Okay.
And then I'm gonna hit the
Let's
number
do it.
one.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
That
Do it.
bad.
Do it.
Okay, here we go.
Hit it.
Yeah, of course I hit it.
Oh, no, you don't. There's no way. Thinking. Maybe it's touching me right now. Oh, you hit. I don't know. It's not.
Whew. Man,
Okay, fine.
I'm nervous for you.
Yeah.
I'll get it working. Yes, please do.
Okay. So anyway, so living it. Tell us what it is to, because that's like my dream, right? Well, because
Yeah.
maybe because I never lived it. You see all these videos, and I watch a lot of Noriyaru and even Samet, and you watch all these videos. Is it really like what we see, or is it better?
It's better.
Ah.
Just the country in general, Japan, everyone is so nice, and just the whole culture is like super friendly. And then of course there's shops like Up Garage where you can just go and buy whatever you can imagine. It's like on the shelf used, that it's everything is just amazing about Japan.
Wow. So what tracks, you hit them all, or you basically,
So-
or you're in Okinawa, I'm assuming, around there, right?
No, we lived in just outside of Tokyo. There's an Air Force
Okay.
base kind of close to Tokyo. So I went to Ebisu Circuit at least once a month for the whole time I lived there.
I don't.
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
oh,
One second.
oh,
One second.
oh.
Hold on.
Yeah, you're
I
good.
don't want it.
Hit him.
Hit me. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, I'm so sorry. So okay, outside of Tokyo, there was
Yes.
that's okay. Sweet. So what tracks did you regularly visit?
Ebisu Circuit a lot.
Oh,
Once a month, like for the 4 years I was there, like probably more often than once a month. So a lot. And then
so jealous.
yeah, and then I never actually drove Nico Circuit. We went there and kind of just spectated and hung out because we were going to Ebisu Circuit like all the time. So we prioritized those events instead of the Nico Circuit. Or in retrospect, I should have probably went to a lot of the other tracks, but Ebisu is so amazing that we just stuck to that basically.
Right. So how many different? So being there, assuming that you had your own car, but how many
Yes.
chassis did you get to drive? Like being over there.
So, I had mostly S13s, and I did venture out into my first car was actually a Mark III Supra, which was
Oh,
not ideal for drifting, but it was like my first car, and I started getting into drifting, and then realized that I needed a Sylvia or something like that. So I went that route, and the parts a lot cheaper, readily available anywhere. Everybody has them. So I got an S13 and then drove that for a while, and then I drove my friend's R32 a bunch, couple chasers, JZX90s and JZX100s.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've driven a lot of random cars over there for sure.
What were the pop?
So in my opinion, the JZX chassis has been popular in Japan forever, like as soon as they came out. So when I lived there, like say 2008 random year, everyone had people either had Sylvias or they had JZXs, and JZXs were known for like never breaking, being super reliable, great power, like stock. And then finally, years later, now JZXs have started to take off and become popular in the US, but they've been very popular for a long time.
And
nice.
it seems that in Japan, maybe you might not know too much anymore. Oh, sorry, I thought you were trying to like touch me to shock me. I don't like that thing. But anyway, it seems like in Japan, the cars that haven't really evolved outside of Sylvias and JZXs, and there's still
R32s.
R32s. Like it's always
Yeah.
been the same, like 80s, 90s, and early 2000s cars. And I mean, what have you seen? I mean, maybe do you have any connections back in Japan where you're starting to see a different trend?
So a huge trend in America is like the 350Zs, and because they're so
Guilty.
reliable and everywhere. Yep, exactly. And so But in Japan, it's not really a common drift car. And I don't know why that is. Maybe parts aren't really available there, or I don't know. Maybe because there's so many Silvios and R32s and or Skylines and JZXs that nobody cares for anything else.
Or maybe it's the way it sounds, and they just can't stand
Yeah,
it.
I mean, could be
I'm
that.
with that.
Oh, that's funny.
Cool, man. Yeah.
They have all kinds of cars that we have. Well, unless it's like in the professional ranks, and then you have like the BRZs and 86, and they barely use. They're still stuck on the old Japanese, which I love those old cars.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just because there's so many of them that are still there. I mean, yeah, they have been exporting them to other countries, but there's still tons of them, so they're everywhere.
Okay, so now coming to America from Japan,
Mhm.
you have obviously this wealth of experience that, just for instance, probably say half of the drifting community is probably like myself, where we only get like 3 or 4 events in a year.
Yeah.
You're coming over here with all this experience under your belt, and then you move over here. What took place? Like, did you jump right into a car? Did you take some time off before you got into drifting, or what happened?
Yeah, I kind of took some time off to get a job because I was 19 at the time and just needed to kind of get my life together. And then I started working at a Nissan dealership in Panama City, Florida, actually, and got a S13. It was NAKA and basically completely stock. And I had some parts that I brought with me from Japan, like some coilovers and I don't even know, random small parts that, whatever I could fit in a suitcase. And then, so I started drifting that as a stock NAKA. But I was also daily driving it to work, whatever. And so, yeah, spent some time street drifting in Florida because in Northwest Florida, there was no events at all at the time. And we actually got drifting started at Emerald Coast Dragway in 2011, I want to say 2010, maybe, by the previous track owners. And then back then, though, it was just one turn. It was a U-turn. That was it.
Right. Yeah.
And so that was the only thing we had in, the whole Northwest Florida area. So we did that and had events there, and it was a blast. And that was eventually the track. I don't know what happened with the track. The track changed owners or something back then. And then we started drifting at a track called Five Flags Speedway in Pensacola. So, yep.
When you approached the track owners at the Emerald Coast Dragway at the time, were they receptive to the idea of drifting, or did you get pushback?
There was definitely some pushback. It wasn't me directly that was dealing with the track owners. It was through another buddy of mine. But it was very hard to get them to even open their doors for us on a weekend or something, just because it's Northwest Florida. At that time, nobody knew what drifting was, and there was no drift community, so basically. So it wasn't high on their priority list to have an event, basically. So, and the first event was actually mostly people spinning out, and it was only one turn. Like it was a lot of beginners, which was great. It was cool to see people interested in drifting that had no idea beforehand.
Yeah, but that's a hard sell when you're trying to come into a track and convince them about throwing an event and trying to get people there when everybody's failing it up. We had very similar experience down here. I think I was sharing that with you at the island. Is we basically it was a touch and go airport in the middle of the Everglades on the border of Miami and Broward, which worked out great because I think the first couple events we had like 40 or 50 cars, right? Which was This was how long ago? It was 2007. 2007, right?
Ooh,
and we ran it for about 8 years until the track closed down. 8 or 9 years until the track closed down. But
July 29th, that was
and the way that kind of stumbled is I ended up some reason with like no experience underneath my belt. Ended up with my brother and the help of Ben. I met Ben then running these drift events, right?
That's awesome.
It had its perks because I had a key to track, but what we did was we got some more experienced guys. come out and we did a demo, but I was able to have some guys that could throw down pretty good.
Sweet.
Yeah, so it turned out pretty good. We had, of course, I'll probably say 25% of the field was pretty good, and the rest of them were just spin fest. But it was what we had.
Yeah.
But it was great. We had a skid pad. We were doing events every other week on a skid pad, and it was just a second gear thing, but it got everybody together. It kept the scene alive. The track closed down. We lost that. Ever since then, the closest track for us to drift at is an hour and a half away.
Yeah. Yeah. Back in 2011, when we were trying to find events or organize an event in Northwest Florida, the closest thing to Panama City was actually CFRC in Orlando.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So it was
throwback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, exactly. And it was, but it's what we had back then, right? Now, scene is blowing up, right? You're seeing more tracks come out. You're seeing more big names getting involved in drifting, like Adam LZ and Cletus I think he's kind of dabbling in it a little bit, and it's just been really good to see how much the scene has grown.
Even NASCAR getting into it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I did some laps with Alex Bowman at the Klutch Kickers Fondy in December. Well, a couple laps, like 2 laps, but he's a NASCAR driver. I think he won one recently.
Right.
Won a race.
Yeah, so he's one of those top NASCAR drivers that's gotten into it. Joey Logano, I'm pretty sure we've all seen the videos with Vaughn Gittin. I mean, and even in the past, we've had IndyCar drivers, car drivers getting into it, and it's pretty cool to see that the attraction to drifting is like us. It's everybody likes it. Even though deep inside they're, or like on the outside they're saying, "Oh, that's just a waste of time and tires." Everybody likes drift. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, it is a huge waste of tires, and I mean, the time it's fun, that's what we do it for. It's a
look,
blast.
You're still at work.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was waiting for this to happen, but
yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. So when you were starting these events, and obviously you already had experience, would you have people go to you for advice? Would you, or did you, like, for instance, take up a role as an instructor, or did you just sort of let others, take care of that?
So it started out like the first event was obviously just complete chaos. But the drivers would come to me or come to other people. There was a few other people that were able to link the course, which was, the one turn, but they could do multiple corners if there was. But we kind of helped like grow the community and offer advice. I really don't like riding passenger in drift cars for some reason.
It is nerve-wracking, yes.
Yeah, and so especially someone that's a beginner that is spinning out or straightening a lot, it's really rough on your passenger. So I try not to ride with people as much as I can, but people, we were like kind of helping the other drivers, the newer drivers, to get into it, because I didn't want them to get burned out on, if they go out and they drive all day and they can't even drift one turn. I didn't want them to get burned out on something, because drifting is great. We're all super passionate about drifting. So I just wanted to keep the fire alive, basically, for generations to come.
Yeah. And I found the scariest people to teach how to drift are
I don't like that thing, man.
Are people that came from an autocross background, because they fly through the track like way too fast, right?
Yeah.
So those are the scariest ones for me to like. You still laughing because I got shot?
Yeah,
it's
still
okay.
Laughing.
Say, hit me. I don't care. Just get it over with. Okay. Anyways, what was I saying?
The scariest people are
autocrossers. Autocrossers by far for me are the most nerve-wracking, because they're flying through the track. They're usually by the time you get to the first turn, they're already out of gear. So it's like when they throw it in, they just initiate into this massive understeer. That's the scariest.
Yeah.
And when we threw the first event, that was when I was like, I had a Toyota Cressida that I had 1J swapped back in 2010, I believe. And I was street driving my car. I was driving, that was my daily, it's my only car. So I was driving it to work, but then on the weekends, I drove it an hour north to Emerald Coast Dragway and drifted it, and then, brought my tires and my tools, and then drove it back home after that. It was back, I think back to those point at that time, and I was like, man, that was a really simple time.
Yeah.
But if the car would have broke at the track, like I would have been screwed, basically.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So
But those are the times that we look back and drive into the track, throwing everything in the back of the car, running on used tires, right?
yeah.
Go into the local shops, buying $10, $20 tires and
205s,
yeah. Right? And just hoping they weren't too dry rotted, and it didn't matter, right? We were just out there to have a good time. And now I saw this probably about 7 or 8 years ago, people just getting one event in and already starting a build, right? So to speak to that, I mean, and we all see it. So speak to that. Somebody that's getting into it, say they have maybe 6 months, or maybe I want to say 6 months. Let's say they have 3 or 4 events underneath their belts, and now they want to start in this build. What would you say to that person?
I would say don't do that. No, but if you're gonna do a build, if you're gonna take your whole car apart that you have right now and do some crazy build, that's fine in my opinion. But buy a 350Z and continue driving events to get the seat time and practice. Because builds, whether it's something that starts off simple, it always takes way longer than expected. So just my whole thing is just keep driving as much as you can. Go to events, that's important.
That's basically why I bought my 350Z, because I didn't drive for like a year and a half. My car is being built by Jackson Performance. It's sort of this bargain kind of barter thing that he got my old E30. That looks like
he's in the chat. So.
He's in the chat. Well, what doesn't matter? There's a hashtag. Hashtag is finish Tim's car. But basically, we did this barter where I had my E30 that I was doing SWD with back in the day, and I think I was the first E30 in America to have a WiseFab kit. So I was like one of the first cars to get it over here, the non-FD legal one. Yeah. And then so we did this barter, and I mean, in all reality, I probably at the end of the day I'll work out ahead, because he did put a lot of time and labor into it. Basically, he's building the main, like the cage. We put a 8.8 diff in there. We've done a bunch of stuff, but it's been 3.5 years.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, it takes time for sure.
Yeah. So I got the 350 and I'm keeping seat time. But yeah, that's a great point. If you're gonna do that build, by all means do it, but get a seat time car. So because once you get that bug, you need to keep that experience in the seat.
Yeah, and don't wait until you start the build to buy the 350Z, because if you start the build, you're gonna dump all your money into your project, and then you're not gonna have the money to buy a Z or whatever. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So how was your transition, or better yet, what made you go pro? Like, was it an epiphany, or was it something that you felt was you were ready for the next level?
So I started, all right, to backtrack just a little bit, we were doing events in Northwest Florida, and then I was like, oh, I really want to travel to do a Pro-Am. And back then I didn't want to do Pro-Am to win a pro license. I wanted to just do a Pro-Am to do a competition that was somewhat, taken seriously. So I took apart, actually I bought a Cressida shell that already had a cage in it, and took apart my daily and bought a truck so I could daily drive a truck now, and started building a new Cressida with the parts from my old Cressida so that I could drive, this was 2012, so that I could drive Streetwise Drift Pro-Am in 2013. Well, that build took longer than expected, and then so I missed Streetwise Drift round 1 because the car wasn't done, and I was living paycheck to paycheck because I was spending every dime I had on the car. So when round 1 was coming up for Streetwise Drift, I literally had no money to, like, I couldn't pull money out of my savings account because I didn't have a savings account back then to make it somehow. So I missed round 1 of Streetwise Drift, and then I was like, man, Texas would be pretty cool, and their Lone Star Drift round 1 is coming up like the next month. So I had an extra month to finish my car. And so I got the car finished, and actually I think I did like a crowdfunding thing. Back then it was before it was frowned upon, I guess. I I basically made a PayPal that people could donate to me so that I could put their names on my car, and I had
Danny
huge
George did
stickers
that, yeah.
basically. Yeah, I did it before Danny George though.
Originator.
And so I basically made it to round 1 of Lone Star Drift Pro-Am in 2013 from all my friends and family that donated to me to make it to that round. And so I did that. I think I got 3rd on round 1 that season. And it was like I was hooked, you know, and I was living in Panama City, Florida at the time, driving to Texas for Pro-Am. And I was just ready to go back, you know. So I did the full season of Lone Star Drift and finished 5th, I believe. Yeah, it was 5th. And then, you know, I was making the drive from Florida to Texas for every round. I wasn't staying out in Texas. And I finished 5th. And then once I got thinking about it, I was like, man, you know, it'd be cool to drive out there again and do it for the 2014 season. You know, so that was in the works. I was working on, you know, getting the car ready for the next season and all that. And then I got fired from my job at Nissan. So I packed my bags and I moved to Houston. And
there you go.
January 2nd, 2014, I moved to Houston. So I moved to Houston, drove Lone Star Drift in 2014, and I finished the season 2nd. And Josh McGuire, he actually drives in Klutch Kickers now. He beat me by like 2.5 points for the season or something. He got 1st. And it was a blast, you know. And at the time I was taking it seriously, but I didn't really plan on driving pro, or at the time it was pro. There was no Pro 2 at the time. And then I somehow managed to get 2nd place overall. So I won a pro license, I won a pro license. And then the next year, after that off season began, I parted out my old Pro-Am car. I built a new car, spent all my money all over again, and built a Pro 2 car. And then I just tried to drive in Pro 2, and that was a disaster.
What chassis?
It was a Toyota Cressida. It was an 89.
MX-83.
Yep.
So the Pro 2 car was also an MX-83?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was a 2J. It was 2J, had a CD09 trans and, you know, cage and everything, fire suppression and stuff like that. So, but I severely underestimated the budget for that year, or for the pro season in general. And I blew a motor testing, and then it was just it was a rough one.
Oh, wow.
You learned a lot, I'll tell you that, right?
Yep. And so I got kind of burned out on pro drifting, and well, not really drifting in general, but I got burned out on it. So it was obviously not a very successful season. So I went to Orlando for 2015 for round 1 for Pro 2, and then didn't qualify, had a bunch of bugs to work out. And then between round 1 and round 2, I was testing the car to get more seat time in this new build, and I blew an engine. So then I missed the 2nd round, which was in Seattle, which was going to be a push to even try to make the 2nd round anyways, because the travel cost is crazy.
Ridiculous.
Yep. And then I drove round 3 at Texas Motor Speedway, and then didn't qualify there either. It was a rough year. And then I just decided to call it quits and not drive Irwindale for the final round. So
Sounds like a rough road, my friend.
yeah. So I know the struggle.
No, absolutely. But it's good for you guys, especially in that time where it was that before Pro 2 and the SWD and the Streetwise, all these different Pro-Am series were going down, for you to share that knowledge with the new drivers, right? Because that's still a reality that people have to get that budget in check before they even start, right? Because hitting up a fun day 3 or 4 times out of the year, and then maybe a couple other events, is nothing compared to a competition.
Exactly. And my biggest thing too is I wish I would have, well, my roll cage wouldn't pass from the Pro-Am car. So that's why I had to build a new car for Pro 2. But if you can, don't build a whole new car. Just fix your current car if you're going to go from Pro-Am to Pro 2 or now Pro Spec. Don't build a whole new car. Like keep the same car.
Now, when you went into Pro 2, did you have a team with you, or were you kind of like trying to run this solo? Like how was that working out?
So the team was basically 2 of my friends and any friends that wanted to tag along, basically. And it was just friends. They weren't paid. We were sleeping on friends' couches, and it was a mess.
So with that said, with your experience, if somebody did want to go into Pro 2 or Pro, and they're kind of new to that world, what would be your advice to do that?
Drive Klutch Kickers.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. Drive as many events as you can and get proficient at tandem. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. You want to be able to do a solid lead lap, but where you're really going to see the difference in drivers or cars is tandem.
Right.
That's how I look at it.
Good. That's good.
That's why when you look at Ben Julian,
right?
Mm-hmm. When my fiance and I went to that fun day in December, me and her did a bunch of laps also, but Ben Julian and Taylor Ray were doing laps together the whole weekend. They were just swapping and going, you know.
Yeah, I know, and they're very mindful of their tire wear too. Like I would follow them sometimes, and they would get off like religiously, like 2 laps, 2 laps, and get off. And I'm like, I thought I was doing 3 or 4 laps. When I looked at my video, I was doing like 7 or 8 laps, really. You know. So
I was doing the same thing.
Yeah, so I was like, couldn't get off. I was having too much fun.
Yeah, I was killing a lot of tires that weekend. Also, I think I did like, I don't know, 13 laps or something in a row, and then come in, and tires are done.
But I was like, Ken, is they're supposed to last forever? No, not
like that.
Not like that. Not like that.
Man.
Hey, I have a question. How vital or how important is it to have a spotter? Because the topic came up at one point where some people were attending these competitions without a spotter, and I forgot who mentioned it, but they said that they were doing themselves a disservice for not having a spotter. So, in your opinion, how important is a spotter?
Very important. So, I mean, I understand some people's situations where they're like a one-man show, or they come with their dad who knows nothing about drifting, or something like that. But the spotters are so important because they tell you how bad you're sucking, like, or where you are on the course in relation to everyone else. Like, they tell you crucial information that you need to know as a driver to do better, basically. I think it's really important. And then also it allows, like, if you were to need, I don't know, anything, basically, spotter is so important, because the spotter during practice and stuff like that, the spotters can ask the judges, me, Will, and Dan, how a specific driver, like how their driver is doing, things like that. Because if you have no spotter, we're watching practice, but we're not, taking notes of random runs throughout the day. We're taking it all in. But if your spotter comes up and asks us to watch the run, we're going to watch the run and, give them feedback to tell you, basically.
Okay. What do you look for? Okay, because I know a spotter, I know when I first started drifting, he just kind of watches what you're doing until if you're doing good or not. But there's way more that goes into being a spotter. For somebody that's looking for a spotter, or maybe one of the other drivers that are just asked this year to be a spotter for another driver, what can you tell a spotter, or what kind of advice can you give for a spotter as far as feedback that they should be providing to their driver?
Go to the driver's meeting with your driver so that you can pay attention to what the judges want. So then you can basically judge your driver's runs, like the spotter can judge their run based off of what the judges actually want to see. It's pretty difficult. Obviously, in my opinion, the spotter needs to know. It needs to be a driver, or at least be familiar with drifting. It's a tough one. But basically, they need to be online. They need to be at angle. Lots of throttle commitment,
Right.
stuff like that. So
yeah. So basically, we're saying the spotter really needs to get into the judge's head so they know how they can critique their driver the best way possible. And I think spotters should be even watching other drivers too, right?
Yeah,
Seeing what they
exactly.
do.
And that's a whole nother aspect where your spotter should be watching you for qualifying and see how you're doing and make sure you're dialed in. But they also need to be watching all the other drivers to see what kind of entry they're doing. If they're doing a feint entry instead of e-braking, that's really important information. If you're going to follow them later in the battle or later in the competition. So, and then it also helps you if one guy he has like a terrible line where he's super shallow throughout the whole course. You need to be prepared for that because he's probably going to do that during your battle.
Right.
It really, really helps, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, for people where I thought Randy was doing a really good job with the line at Klutch Kickers. Other people were cutting the line like crazy, or going inside, which is not what you guys were looking for. So I mean, knowing that ahead of time is got to be a lifesaver because you're expecting that everybody's gonna run the line that the judges are looking for, and that could really screw you up.
Right. A lot of guys weren't.
Yeah, and something you said, Tim, was the spotter should get into the mind of the judge. I think it also they have to get into the mind of the driver if they're seeing the driver that they're spotting for not, fulfill the line or have the angle. Actually, if they are a driver themselves, advise the driver. And
they have to be truthful too. They can't be sugarcoating anything.
Yeah, you did okay, but no, you didn't do okay. You sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's important for the driver and the spotter obviously to get along. You don't want some, they got to be friends too, for sure.
Right.
It's and I know some spotters, once you get into the higher complicated stuff, the spotters will also use stopwatches to time certain sections of the track to compare the faster cars against each other to see where they stack up, basically. Drifting really isn't normally timed, but it makes a difference when you have Alec versus the guy with the stock KA car. It's a huge time difference, and it's super visible.
Hey, that stock KA was inspirational. Okay,
He was killing it.
let's not put him down. All right, that was a throwback to years past when you would just see 240 showing up with random body panels. You're like, oh look, it's a junkyard special. It's amazing.
Yep.
Good old Joseph Love, keeping it real.
Yeah, man. Shout out to him.
Yes, indeed.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So how'd you hear about Klutch Kickers? I guess is my question.
So I'm from that area in Florida. So obviously I'm still friends with a lot of people that live there in the area still. And it started popping up on my news feed, and it was just small world type of thing where I was like, man, I live an hour from the track. When I used to live there, that's crazy. So last year, actually, I started driving. I drove round 2 of the competition last year, and with my KAT car, and I did pretty well. I think I made it top 16. Not the best, but made it top 16, and then I loved it. I really like what Klutch Kickers is doing as an organization, and being there for the drivers to really. The track is so perfect for tandem that it's just awesome. I love it. So I really wanted to drive more of their events and be involved as much as I possibly could. So that's kind of led us to where we are today.
Let me ask you, when you were driving, what was your opinion on the passion? Did you feel it? Did you feel the passion? Did you feel he was fair?
As a judge. As a judge.
Pat
okay.
Gooden, yes.
Pat is so passionate. Yes. Yeah, for sure. I love driving the comp. Like if I wasn't a judge this year, I would probably be driving in the competition as well. Like or instead, you know. So I love it, man. It was great. The like all the how do I word it? All the drivers that were driving last year and this year are all like they're here because they love drifting. They're not. I mean, yeah, some of them would like to win $10,000, but everybody that's there, they're all passionate about drifting. That's why we're all there, in my opinion.
Let me ask you something. How many so because you were around Emerald Coast and you were doing those little events, and then you moved over to Houston, and now you hear about this Klutch Kickers coming around. Are any of the guys there now that were there when you were running those little or doing those little U-turn events?
No one's still drifting. People, you know, got married, had kids, and obviously that's, you know, it takes over everything. But I'm trying to think. No, nobody's driving in the competition. I still see a lot of my friends at the events, but nobody's driving still.
Oh wow.
It happens. I mean, look at all the guys we, you know, started with.
Yeah, a lot of people fell off it, and then randomly we'll see them. Like randomly saw Pablo show up again. We hadn't seen Pablo Filero. Like, out of nowhere. There was two brothers, Esty and Pablo Filero. They used to drive a lot back in the day, and he disappeared for a while, and then boom, here he shows up at an event with the car drifting again.
Yeah.
Oh
crazy.
man,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Cool. Yeah, it is cool. And actually, Harry Tervola, I ran into him at a car show. He hasn't done an event 4 or 5 years, I think, right? Yeah,
Been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, our Finland, the Finland, what do we call it? The Finland Nightmares? I don't know. We used to something, right? but he just bought a car. I guess it was a pro spec car. He just has to put a motor in, so he's gonna start driving again.
Oh,
I didn't tell you that.
Hey.
No, you did not.
I didn't. I don't know if you know Harry Tervola. He used to own Turtech. He's really close with Sean Love for SLR. Sean Love.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they're real close. Yeah, he's very great driver. He's been driving for a long time, and he always drove those old.
He just took a little hiatus.
Yeah, took a little hiatus. He started a kava bar business, and
oh man,
yeah, it's flourishing. And now he's got.
That's awesome.
He's got
Something
money.
happened to you.
Oh no, it just caught me off guard.
Oh,
Something
man.
did happen to me. But yeah, now he's gonna start another build. So that's pretty exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You seemed excited.
I was totally excited. You didn't see my excitement.
But we see that in all facets of drifting, even from grassroots all the way to
pro.
Like you see some of the old guys like Sam Hubin at Reese Millen, they'll come by and visit, and they're always talking about like, man, I would like to go back out there. In fact, Tanner Faust did that for a couple of years too. So it's when you leave drifting, it's not like you just leave it forever. It's always a part of you.
Isn't it?
Yep.
Were you hesitant to judge, or did you just were you just up for it immediately?
So I was up for it immediately. I obviously had to, you know, make sure it was cool that I was away from home for 5 days with my fiance. You know, leave my business here, my shop, and go there. So that was those two things were the most important to me, to make sure that I was able to, you know, take care of things here while I was in Florida for 5 days at a time for each round. So I wasn't hesitant about being a judge or, you know, dealing with the pressure of being a judge, but yeah, it's definitely stressful for sure.
Worst job in drifting.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. It's not too bad.
Well, I'm glad you look at it like that.
Well, at least
Maybe you'll stick around for a year or two.
The one good thing about being a judge is that you get to watch the whole event. It's all in front of your face. The only problem is that, well, it's all up to you. So it really weighs a lot on your shoulders.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's a blast. Me, Will, and Dan, we've known each other for years, and we actually all drove in Pro 2 in 2015 together. And so we've known each other since then, and it's great for us three to be up there on the judges tower, and all of us get along, and everybody, you know, it's awesome. Couldn't ask for more.
Now, when you're judging with Dan and Will, do you have a lot of disagreements on some of the calls? Has that happened already?
No, not too much. No. If there is a disagreement, the way that like all three of us will put in our individual votes, and then if it's a split decision or the way whichever one overturns the other one,
Yeah.
basically, or if it's a one more time, things like that. But
Right.
for the most part, we are in agreement like every call. It's great.
Awesome. Okay, so you got three like-minded judges. That's very important because we've all judged events ourselves, and somebody else's mind will be here, and somebody
Yeah.
saw something else, and it's happened like a million times. So it's good that Klutch Kickers has judges that are like-minded. That's
Yeah.
very
For sure.
Question. So, did you guys arm wrestle to decide who gets to judge what? I'm just curious because I mean, you're the line judge, but was it by choice or was it by competition?
Before the season started, Will, and Dan, we're in like a little group chat, and yeah, we're just like, who wants to be what? And I was like, I'd like to be line judge if that's cool with you guys. And then they were like, yeah, that's great. And then Will wanted to stick. I believe Will was Angle last year, I think. I can't remember, but and then Dan's personality fits pretty well with the style side of things, so it works out great.
So, talking about Dan, he mentioned previously that he would like for the drivers to make his pants tight, and we had asked him if the other judges felt uncomfortable or how they reacted to that. So now we get to ask you in person. How is it uncomfortable or is it something that is
Arousing.
yes, or climactic?
I mean, I haven't noticed anything. I'll leave it at that.
That could be good or bad. That could be good or bad, right?
I'm sorry, Dan. I'm sorry.
Either he's really not excited or he's excited and it's just not impressive.
There's still plenty of space in the judges' tower.
Oh man, that's good. That's good.
Oh, that's crazy. So line judge. That's I guess what we could do is sort of do like a quick driver's meeting, and I guess one of the first things we want to know is what do you look for at the track? Obviously, the track is pretty well defined, and you've made little adjustments here and there, but for the most part, it's well defined. So what are you looking for mostly?
So for line, obviously I can't talk too much about the other two sides of things, but for line, I want the drivers to initiate by the 3-2-1 cone unless they're getting impeded upon, and then so initiate smoothly and then fill the outer zone 1 with the rear of their car without dirt dropping, and then after outer zone 1 you come in, you swing around the inner clip, and then you make a quick transition and a slight slowdown to kind of back the car into the touch and go, and then transition across the track to our new change where we made outer zone 2 start slightly sooner. We did that so that the cars can transition across the track and be more predictable. The lead car can be more predictable for the follow car to follow. So it's not necessarily to slow the cars down, which it does, but I wanted to define, well, all three of us as judges wanted to really define where the cars need to be, because at round 1, the cars would transition, everyone would transition in a different spot, and some dudes with big power could just do a rolling burnout from touch and go to where the old outer zone 2 started. And it made for some not really spectacular battles. Like people would get gapped really hard right there. So from outer zone 2 all the way around, and then transition into outer zone 3, ride the rear of your car on the edge of the track basically, and finish the run there. So I feel like line is pretty simple for the most part. The touch and go is really important too, because if you don't fill the touch and go, then not really fill it, but if you don't get to the touch and go, then it's almost impossible to make it to the beginning of the outer zone 2. And we saw that a lot during the competition, where people would, skip the touch and go completely, be like 8 feet off of it, and then they were on the wrong side of the track basically to transition. They couldn't transition to the beginning of outer zone 2.
That makes sense.
Now, how much of being a line judge when it comes to tandem and it comes to the chase car, right? So now you basically gotta watch 2 cars at the same time, watching both lines, because sometimes you'll see an okay lead run as far as their line, but then the chase car driver is just still all over the place.
Yeah.
Do you catch that a lot, or is it that hard to be able to watch both of those?
It's not hard unless the cars are 12 car lengths apart, and then it's pretty difficult to watch one or the other. But at that point, it would be an inactive chase. It was pretty obvious. But no, it's not too bad, because it's, especially if the lead car is on the proper line on the outside of all the zones, and he hits the inner clip like perfectly. It's pretty obvious where the follow car would be in relation to the lead car. So basically what I do is I watch the lead car and see where he is or she, and then I see where the follow car is in relation to the lead car, basically.
Okay.
That's how I do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a question. It's not necessarily relating to Klutch Kickers today, but what is your opinion on Manji?
Manjis, I think once upon a time they were cool, and then they got really lame, and
So
depends on who you are. Some people like Manjis and some people don't.
I don't really care. I think Manjis are sick. Obviously they're slower, but lead cars, I feel like, have the right to Manji. They have the right to initiate however they want, whether it's Manjing the whole straightaway. They're going to be slower, but it's the lead car's, obligation to do that, whether they want to just go straight, pull the e-brake, or they want to do a crazy Manji. It looks sick, but it's definitely not the fastest way through the track for sure.
Now, what if somebody Manji is the entry? When are they considered initiated?
When they are facing basically they're facing, the car is facing the way the corner is going.
Okay.
So if that makes sense, I guess that's how to explain it.
So how was it this past weekend for you? I obviously see, here's the thing. One of the things about Klutch Kickers is that every event provides something different, something unique. And this last event did not disappoint. So
it was a wild one.
Yeah. So what was your takeaway from it, and how did you handle being a storm chaser?
So the event was a pretty wild one. I feel like the issues really all stemmed from the fact that there was a tornado touchdown on Saturday, and nobody got practice. There was no qualifying. So that sort of really screwed us for the whole weekend, basically. So, and obviously we couldn't help that there was a tornado. So we had to try to adjust and make changes to the schedule to really try the best we could to have a good event. But yeah, the storm and us having to cancel qualifying really put a huge dent in our plans.
Yeah, definitely.
And then so that basically meant that everyone qualified, so automatically. So it was based off of the people that have the season passes. Those were in order based on points. And then, man, there's someone doing a burnout outside of my shop.
I thought I heard something.
Yeah, I heard
we
that
heard
too.
something.
Anyways, we're good. And then so the first 40 drivers, I believe it is, whoever has the season passes, they were qualified based off of their order and points. And then the drivers that didn't have any points were randomized for their qualifying order. So it made it for a pretty interesting bracket. Obviously, we saw, I think it was Taylor Hull and Taylor Ray in top 32.
Yeah.
It was just, there was a lot of battles like that where, it was not the usual battles we would see that early.
Yeah,
Good to see them battle again.
Yeah,
It was good
Yeah.
to see that battle again. When we saw that, that was exciting.
yeah,
Mhm.
especially when when Taylor Hall's car kind of stalled, and then you see him get back in it. We were just like, "Whoa,
What a rocket ship that thing was.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it looked like from the judge's booth, but the car was stopped, parked, and then all of a sudden he stopped on the gas, and then he was right on his side.
Yeah.
He was right
Yep.
on Taylor's door.
Did it just do a wheelie? What happened? That thing was crazy."
Yeah.
I got a question for you. What was your most
Yeah.
exciting battle?
Man, I really like the Alec Honadell and Randy Noah battle. That was
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah, no,
my
that was
favorite.
a great
that
battle.
was a great way to start the top 16 for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think like, okay, because we know Randy Noah.
He's our boy.
Yeah, he's from
Yeah.
down here, and we're like, man, he's going up against Alec. I mean, Alec is, he's the round one winner, the pro. His car is a monster. What's Randy really gonna do? And he puts up a show. I was just like, how hard was that for you to judge? Like, there was a part of you that probably was like, man, we want to go one more time with this, but we really got.
I think what really sealed it for me on that was that Randy put down. So it was Alec that led first. He was there. Had great proximity, and then had a great lead run. Or Alec had a great lead run. Randy was there and had great proximity. But then on Randy's lead run, Randy was slightly shallow, not shallow, but he wasn't as deep into outer zone 2 as he could have been towards the end of it. And what I noticed was Alec was actually deeper into the zone. Alec was behind him, but he was still on his door. And that was sick. I was blown away by Alec was still running the proper line, but he was in the chase position while maintaining, his blower, his supercharger was like right in Randy's window. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's what Randy said. He looked over. It was like, oh,
yeah. He was like, it's just white noise.
Yeah.
There was no complaints there, right? Randy, he
Randy was psyched.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
he was like, he didn't care that he lost. Yeah.
And they're both super humble dudes, man. It was cool. It was awesome to see, for sure.
That's what we want to see with drifting, right? You want to see excitement. You want the drivers to be excited, win, lose, or draw.
No games,
right? Going all out.
Because I think Alec hit Randy too, and Randy just rode with it.
Right, and that's what that is drifting. That's how every battle should be. All this, and you see it. This soccer falls, right? That we see every once in a while. It's like it's so frustrating and. It's attack. Okay, I get it, right? There's got to be some kind of tactic to the game, or I'm going to protest on somebody because I don't think their car should have passed tech inspection, or all these things that people try to use to get the advantage. At the end of the day, we don't want to see that. The people that have been around long enough, we want to see the show they put on.
Yeah, and
all out.
Everybody's going to have a strategy, whether it's they study the rule book relentlessly and that's their thing where they're looking for a technical, in, or they are, driving really well on the track and just, murdering it all weekend. That was basically it. Some dudes just really, everybody there is a great driver, but some people just know the rule book, by the back of their hand. So it's, when something questionable goes wrong or something in their opinion, they will protest, and we want to be fair to everybody, whether whoever it is. It's a random guy that we've never met or saw before ever. It's his first drift event ever, and he's at Klutch Kickers. We want to be just as fair to that guy as we are to any of the dudes that are in the top of the points. Like that's how drifting is. We want to be just as fair as possible.
Right.
So,
and then that's great because that's what you really need as a judges. Because we have all been to events that have been judged that we know there's an obvious. Different ones, but I'm saying I'm
biased when I judge.
You're biased. He's biased.
You're biased.
I'm saying we've seen it. I've seen it firsthand where I'm like, wait, this guy didn't initiate until the first clip. The other guy was drifting behind him the whole time, and they faulted a guy from that spun behind him because the guy didn't initiate till the first clip. And I'm like. Just seeing some crazy stuff that makes you just like, you got to be kidding me. I haven't seen that with Klutch Kickers. Last round and this round, and I see the hearts of the judges, and we're talking to Dan as well. There's always going to be something you miss. There's always going to be somebody that's not happy. But to the level that I've seen in other events, it hasn't happened, right? We had that issue in round 1. What did Dan do? I mean, he went out of his way, edited a video, point by point, broke it down. So this is what we're looking for. And it's not about a biasness. It's not, we're not hating anybody. Nobody's getting paid off. We want the best, and we want you guys, we want to push you to do your best. And yes, it's a judge sport, so there's going to be something missed. I'm not saying that, oh, the Klutch Kickers are the perfect judges, never going to make a mistake. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I know I know your guys' hearts, and I know where they're at, and I know at the end of the day, just like you just said, you don't want to have a driver come in and feel like, oh, well, he's not going to get the win just because we don't know him. And you know, we're buddies with Alec, and you know, Adam LZ gave us a 6-pack of fruit roll-ups, you know, so we're gonna give him the win, right?
Yum.
Yes, cherry flavor. So that is big. That is really important for everybody to hear and understand from people that have been around for a while, even though we're in our little bottom cesspool of Florida that we hang out in.
Get the information last.
Yeah, we get our information. Everything comes down here last. You know, music, everything. So it's great to hear. Anybody that's watching, it is absolutely true what Klutch Kickers has been able to do with the judges by choosing you. But I think so. Will called you up, right? And is Will the one that called you and Dan up for this?
For what?
For the judging for this season.
Yeah, so Will actually, I think Dan was there for Drift Week and talked to the Klutch Kickers people then.
Mm-hmm.
But Will put in the good word for me, and yeah, huge shout out to Will Parsons. Thanks, bro. I drove round 2 in the series last year, and then we went there in December, and we had like a little meeting and sat down and talked, and yeah, went from there basically. So
nice. And Will's stuck. He's glutton for punishment. That's two seasons.
Will is very passionate.
Yeah. Oh, his passion may overtake the other passion. Huh.
Yeah, so I just wanted to go back to your point about how unbiased and how fair the competition is. But I want to ask you this: has anybody, without naming anybody, has anybody tried to bribe you?
Shock me, Ben. Shock me. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I wanted clarification on that.
I did have a question. Do you feel like you still have trouble with some drivers not fully getting a grasp on what it is that you're looking for up to this point?
So it's hard to say, especially based off round 2, because we didn't have any practice or qualifying and on Saturday. So they missed practice, but then they also missed 2 additional practice laps, basically, as their qualifying laps. So the driving on Sunday was, in my opinion, it was pretty rough. It was all over the place, you know. There was moments where it was really great driving, and the runs were sick, but then there was also runs where the lead car and the follow car would spin out, you know, separately. So yeah. It was it made it for an interesting event. I think that the drivers know. I mean, that's why we have drivers meetings and, you know, talk about it all the time, what we want to see on track. And then, but sometimes I feel like they're just not able to put the car where they want it. So, you know, like maybe a car is underpowered or has, you know, a really bad angle kit or something on it, or stock knuckles or something, and they're not able to drive it the way they want to. And then obviously we score them based off of how they're actually driving, not how they want to drive. So yeah.
Yeah.
Do you change or do you make adjustments in your judging criteria? Like if, let's say for instance, some way somehow the event would have went on Saturday, would you have made adjustments, or would you have kept it the same?
If it had rained, like, and not tornadoed?
Correct.
Yeah. So yeah, for sure. Obviously it would have been a huge, we would have handicapped everyone basically with the wet track and rain. So definitely, for sure. We would have, everybody would be slower, you know, there'd be, you know, no tire smoke. So it would actually be easier to see the runs and the battles. But yeah, definitely we would adjust accordingly if it was a full rained event.
Now, how do you deal with the different kind of rain? The rain that involves dirt flying onto you guys whenever somebody dirt drops on the second outer zone.
So when someone does that, I go like this. It got pretty bad up there because obviously it rained a lot on Saturday. So then on Sunday, the first practice session, I was up there watching all of practice, and it was just like someone would dirt drop, and then it would just rain like clay, like wet clay. So that was fun. But throughout the competition, it started to dry up, like the dirt did. So it wasn't it wasn't like covering us in mud. It was just dirt at that point. So it was a good time.
Do you feel like this event was perhaps a bit more difficult to judge? And the reason why I say that is because there was a couple of times where there was several one more time calls. And so can you sort of clarify what happened there exactly? Or was it just something that like the runs were so good that they were just it was too difficult to determine an actual winner?
So some of the one more times were that way, where the runs were just so close that we couldn't find any deductible mistakes to give one guy the advantage over the other. But a lot of the one more times was because the drivers were both really sloppy, whether they both dropped one tire or they both dropped one rear tire or front tire, whatever. It was, and I feel like that stemmed back from the tornado on Saturday, where we weren't able to get them to practice and qualify. So the whole, they just had less seat time to get ready for the competition, basically. So
so then do you feel like that perhaps led to more protests? Because there was one, I guess you could say, the sour points of the event was the amount of downtime due to the protests. So how do you feel about that?
I will say that there's going to be some changes to the protest procedure. So from this round 3 moving forward. But yeah, absolutely. There was a few protests where we had to, listen to the protest and deal with that, which made for a huge delay in the show, which sucked. But the protests were, every driver has the right to protest. So, and as judges, we want to listen to them and, hear them out. So we did that basically. But yeah, everything started from the tornado on Saturday. It was a rough one, boys. Yeah.
But I will say one benefit of tornado is that we got to hang out with you, have a couple drinks. With some of the guys. We always go up there, do the show, and come back. So it sucked that we weren't able to have that day of competition, but we all said that it was like really was a great day for us, because at least for us as drift sessions, to be able to interact with you guys and share some stories and get to know each other, right? So that was really cool.
Yeah, it was awesome to be able to just drink me a Yingling and hang out with you guys. And, it was great, man.
Keep feeding them.
Yeah. Thank you.
I think I even had to trade shirts with Marco Garza because he was getting kicked out. So I had to give him my shirt so he can sneak back in. So
I don't know if that's supposed to be public information.
Public information. I think I have his address too. If Island Resort.
For that, bam, that's what you get.
Oh no!
I could take it.
You hit him with the double shock?
No, I have not.
Oh, you try that one out, yeah.
Try that one out.
He's gonna wear that thing the whole show.
Yeah, I'm wearing the whole thing, the whole show. Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, randomly shocked.
Yeah, Noel quit last show when he got
that show.
I walked out. I was so pissed.
Yeah, he literally left the show.
I gave everybody a great comedic moment, which was me just ripping this thing off and being like, "To hell with this," and I walked out. Everybody laughed about it. I was mad, but whatever. I get it.
Yeah.
I don't like that thing. I don't like that thing.
Oh man.
Poor guy.
All right.
Were there any calls that were overturned, or were they just baseless arguments?
So there was one protest that we overturned. It was because it was the Kevin Lawrence and Lucas Torno battle, the first battle of that, we didn't realize the oil that was down on track when they went for their second run. Basically, Kevin led on the first half of the battle and had blown head gasket or head lifting, something like that.
That's an RB. They do that.
Yeah. So we knew he had a head gasket issue, but we didn't realize was that the oil was mixing with the water and causing a milkshake to come out of the exhaust, I guess, or catch can or something like that. So there was a decent amount of oil down on the track. And so on Lucas Torno's lead lap, he spun in outer zone 2. And then we gave Kevin Lawrence the win because Kevin Lawrence didn't hit him or anything, there was no contact. And so we gave Kevin Lawrence the win and we moved on to the next battle. And then we got a protest from Lucas Torno saying that he spun because there was oil on the track, and there was oil on the track and he spun. So, that's basically, we went back and reviewed it, and we walked the track actually and inspected everything, and there was oil down. So that means that we gave Lucas Torno a 0 following Kevin because he had an inactive chase. So Lucas's lead, he spun because of Kevin's oil on the track. So we gave Kevin a 0. So both had 0. So we did it one more time over that. So that was the only call that we overturned.
Little off topic, but when you see a vehicle that's out on the track having issues, do you slip them your business card, letting them know, like, hey, if you want, just come over to my shop and fix your problem there, pal?
So yeah, obviously I have a shop. It's called Ramsey Race Prep. It's a bit of a drive from Florida, but I do all sorts of general automotive repair, but I also do a lot of drift car specific stuff, whether it be setting up. I do a lot of differentials as well. So I overhaul differentials and set them up as well. I do tire sales and performance parts sales, everything. So I don't mess with diesel trucks. That's not my thing. So I'm out of there on that. But basically anything else, and that's what I do here.
Do you deal with BMW differentials by some chance? I'm curious.
I actually do. Emerson Noguera. How do you say his last name?
Noguera.
There you go.
Yeah.
I butcher it every time. I'm sorry, Emerson.
It's okay. We got called out for butchering somebody's name.
We didn't butcher it.
You don't say the G. I think the G is silent. I'm pretty sure. But anyways, they reached out to me, and I believe I'm going to be building a differential for them. I'm going to pick it up and bring it back, between rounds or something. So it's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah.
But he runs an LSD.
Is he running an LSD or is he running welded?
I think I'm not sure if it's a welded or LSD. I think they want to change. Wow, sorry. I think they want to change gear ratios. So they want me to do a new gear set and fresh bearings and seals and set it all up. So
cool.
By the way, he's in the chat and he writes, "It's all good." And the U is silent. FYI.
The U is silent. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still not going to try to say it because I'm just going to butcher it again.
Tim, don't you have a differential here? That's why I bring it up.
I do have an E36 differential, but it's not an automatic. I was actually going to throw it in the garbage because nobody wants it.
Huh.
Man, Emerson might want it.
Yeah. I also have I've had quite a few BMWs. Me and my brother, we've had quite a few, and I have this automatic transmission out of E36. I can't give it away, so I'm debating. I've actually thought about making a sink out of it because it's pretty tall, right? But I just don't have the time, so I'm gonna throw it out in bulk trash, and I'm sure somebody will scrap it. But yeah, I have it.
Yeah.
But it's automatic, so it's like a 320 or a 291 or something stupid.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Nobody wants that.
that's a fun final drive.
Yeah, if you're going on road trips.
You could do the whole Klutch Kickers in
First gear?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Crazy. By the way, he writes, Emerson writes, we run welded differential, and he says, just don't say Noriega.
Noriega.
Yeah. I knew it was special. I didn't want to butcher it, so I did not say that.
Is there anything that you can think of off the top of your head of a particular run that you want to clarify, or you want to take a Dan moment and sort of break down a run step by step, or do you feel content with all of the decisions that you made?
Nothing off the top of my head. I feel pretty content on all the decisions we made. If there was a protest, I don't think the drivers were too happy with the call even after they protested, but we stuck with our word because it's our call, and we made our best judgment based on what we saw and what video footage we had from the Klutch Kickers staff, and that was that. So
yeah, and that's interesting to point out too, is that you guys as judges, I've noticed versus that other series that we hear about a lot, is that they only choose to use their own footage, right? You guys go above and beyond trying to not just make the person realize that, hey, listen, we want to be as fair as possible. You use other footage. You've had people bring other footage, right?
No, not necessarily. The rule book is written that the footage needs to be from a Klutch Kickers staff member or media person. So like the drone footage, but the drones there's 2 drones going all the time. So there's 2 different drone angles, and then obviously the live stream cameras that are placed on the track.
Right.
So we use those, and then obviously watch with our eyes when the run actually happened. So yeah, it's like the reason for that rule is we don't want your mother coming up with her cell phone saying, "Look at my son," whatever. It's just
that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
yeah. It would happen if there wasn't that rule, basically.
Yeah,
Dak is correcting you in the chat.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's at least I put my foot in mouth a lot. It's okay, it's fine. That's why you guys are there, right?
We spread false information.
Yeah, I spread false
This is
information.
fake news.
My whole life is false information.
So also a little off topic, but so I watched I think I was 11 hours in on the stream because I wanted to see how it was going and check it out. And so I watched most of the stream, and in the very beginning, you guys were saying that the people were making their buy runs that would spin out or go off course on their buy runs, that they were like going to be out of the competition. But then you corrected it, and then I think someone came over or something and told you guys. But yeah, I was like, oh man, I hope they don't say that for the whole competition.
We would have.
We did.
Well, it's funny. I was like, man, I gotta use the restroom, so I'm gonna go out. And then I asked the guy at the finish line. He explained it to me. I was like, oh man, we were wrong the whole time, so I have to run back.
Yeah,
guys, we're wrong.
Yeah, and that's stuff we have to work on our end too. There's a lot of communication. Yeah, we're growing, right? And we're every event we learn from our mistakes, and we make it better and better and better, and we're gonna make new mistakes next time.
Hell yeah. And obviously there's a lot of rules too, so and you guys it's pretty hard to keep up with all the rules like in the first place. So but yeah, basically if a car has a buy run, all they have to do is leave the line under its own power, basically, or finish the lap. I can't remember exactly how it's written, but I believe it's just leave the line under their own power.
We could try reading the rule book.
Yeah.
Well, I've read it. I've read a rule book.
Well, actually, I will say that before the event started, all 3 judges walked the track with us and broke down the judging criteria, and that was very beneficial. So that way we could try to relay that information to the crowd, and we really appreciate you guys taking the time to do that. So I did want to mention that.
You're welcome. Yeah, that was the whole point, is so that we can explain what we're looking for to you guys, like specifically, so that you can help the show, be better and explain things a little more in depth without making the call if you were a judge, basically. Because obviously we're sitting up in a tower, 15 feet in the air, and have multiple camera angles that we could see, and you guys are on the start line, pretty far away from all the zones and stuff, so it's pretty difficult to see all that.
Yeah, it is. And also, but like kind of going back to like our screw up, You know, anytime.
Shock 'em.
Shock 'em.
Sorry,
Wait,
sorry.
no, do it. Shock me. Shock me. Shock me. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Oh,
What the hell?
Wait, he's asking for it? Oh, okay, fine. Okay.
I'd rather look forward to and be prepared for it. Anyways.
Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't know when it was coming.
Well-
Well, you're asking for it.
Well, so what? But anyways, aside from that, I think we tried to, as being on the live stream and commentating, we try to make sure we feed all that information to those that are watching, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And anytime you see us fall short, because we want to be better too, right? We want to be
Yeah.
the best commentators we can be, and put that information to the audience as clear and concise as possible. So we are definitely, if you guys ever see anything, we want you always to come to us or talk to Ben and say, hey, listen, you know, you guys, I don't care. You guys, you know, you guys did good, but man, you guys really suck at this, right? But just, you know, but say it, because
Yeah,
it's all love, right? We're here to
Yeah.
build each other up and make each other better. So
for sure.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted, like, I've watched the live stream. Obviously last year I watched the live stream as well. But this year I couldn't watch the live stream because I was judging the event, but I like to watch the live stream after the event's over, just to see how everything was, you know, went. And it was great, obviously, other than the, you know, major delays, but that was just part of it, I guess.
yeah, and there's other things like just equipment wise that we know we got to work on our end. I think some delays that we're working with the live stream guys. We got
Matt
Captain
Stone.
Ben here, Matt Stone. They're working together hard to iron out those little stuff. But it's people don't realize it's not like we're just setting up one camera. Talking to them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many. I mean, there's multiple drones flying. It's in the middle of nowhere, so just what they had to purchase just to be able to get a feed that we could broadcast. You know, everybody's on their phone broadcasting, so that there's not many towers out there. They're overloaded, so it's very easy for somebody to be in the chat room and said, "Oh man, this sucks." You know, it's this or this or that. But hey, listen, it's what happens. But those people that are out there that are watching this or may watch it later, there is a tremendous amount of effort and energy and money going in to make this as good as possible.
Yeah.
And we're only halfway through this, not even halfway through the second season, right?
Yeah.
Season 2
Exactly.
last year, I don't know if did it have a live stream or round 2 last year, season 1?
No,
It didn't even have a live stream.
I think it started at round. It might have been round 2. It might have been starting at round 3. I can't.
But
even
it was just
remember.
like a live feed though. It wasn't
Correct.
nothing else.
Yeah, you guys weren't there. Yeah. Yeah.
No, there was
exactly.
So that you got to look at what they've done in such a short amount of time and the commitment that Klutch Kickers has to making this as best as it possibly can be. It's awesome, right?
Yeah, and I think even with, like, obviously everything stemming from the Saturday tornado storm disaster with, you know, freak hail and winds, was everything stemmed from that. And I think we did a great job for having a show and having a competition. Luckily the rule book is set up. Zach did a great job with the rule book, setting it up for having a backup plan in case we had to cancel qualifying. So I think it went great.
And all things considered, thank God that happened on Saturday, not Sunday. Right?
Yeah.
I have a comment that actually is a great point from Emerson again, who writes, it's awesome that live streams are available after. Great tool to learn on what to improve.
Yep.
Right.
For
As
sure.
a driver, yeah. As a driver, because a lot of drivers are out there, maybe just one other person. I think I spoke to a couple drivers. I'm like, you have any sponsors? They're like, no, I don't have any sponsors. Who's here with you? I got my wife and my friend, right? So they don't have the ability to record everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know as well as anything, it's like trying to get that footage of you driving and focusing on everything else. You can't do all that. So the live, that's a great point.
And a local series too, like when you drove SWD. I mean, if I wasn't filming, that would be the only thing you ever got.
Yeah, just feedback. And that was it, right?
What's so funny too is every drift event I go to, I always bring my GoPro, and I literally never use it, like, ever. It's terrible.
It's in the center console.
Yeah.
Or you forget to charge it, or something.
Yeah.
Or forget the SD card.
Yeah, or I'm just get so excited because I just want to start driving that I was like, I'll set it up later. And I never set it up.
Yeah. Every time I get to a drift event, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna mention that's something that happened to Rome too. Remember?
Oh.
We were
Oh,
talking
yeah.
to him,
Yeah.
and he didn't even use any of his GoPro footage,
Right.
so his media guy was gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Yep. I saw that on the live stream earlier from the event. Yeah, I always have like a ritual, I guess, of when I like Missy and we always go to drift events together, and she drifts also. So
Oh wow.
yep. And so we have like a 2-car trailer and unloading the cars and getting everything set up and our canopy and unloading, tires and everything. I'm always so excited to go drive that the GoPro just gets like forgotten about. I'm like, are the air pressures okay in our tires? Like, is there fuel in the car? Like, let's go, basically, every time.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Maybe that's the trick. I got to teach my wife how to drift. Maybe when I get the E46 done, I'll save the 350Z.
But then you got to fix her car too.
Then I got, but 350C it doesn't break. I just leave it the way it is.
Oh, there you go.
You just
Yeah,
jinx
yeah.
yourself. You just jinx yourself.
Yeah, I have I'm doing America's Union at the end of the month, so yeah, maybe I shouldn't say it. I'm gonna go over that car really well. But anyways, maybe that's the key. Try to teach her, or maybe I can get my daughter to drive.
There you go.
We'll see.
So what I guess you can say is what areas of improvement are you looking to, or what areas are you looking to improve on the next event, the next round?
Not have a tornado.
Okay,
That would be-
That's a good
Tell
one.
Mike to
Well,
tell
let's
tell
keep,
Magic Mike
Magic Mike away
Magic
from
Mike
him.
he's not allowed to enter the next one.
Yeah, no rain dances.
His fault.
Obviously the series is still growing, and there's minor rulebook changes and things like that where we're adjusting things as we're going. But other than that, I mean, there's nothing really major that really is going to be like a drastic change. Just fine tuning it, is how we're doing it.
Nice.
Okay. Guys,
Mhm.
any particular battles that you wanted to get clarification on before we sort of move away from that?
No, I think he explained
No, I
pretty
think
much
he did
any
cover-
issues that you
no.
had.
Nope.
Okay.
I think there was
Those two.
There's
of
a
them.
Michael Elsie.
There was Michael
Okay.
Elsie versus Troy Manners,
Manners.
and then there was
Okay.
also. We'll let you go with that first, and then
All
we'll
right.
go to the next.
All right. So I believe Troy Manners led first, and it was a good run. He had a good lead, and then Michael Elsie was pretty close, but not on the proper line following him. Obviously, his car is faster, so he was cutting line to, maintain somewhat proximity. And then where the controversy happened was on the second run, where Troy Manners followed Michael and had on entry, he bumped him in the left rear tire. And then we saw that, but both drivers kept going, and Michael Elsie's he was pretty far off of outer zone 1, inner clip 1, touch and go, outer zone 2, and then there was a spin out, and Troy Manners was there, and he was very close, but we watched multiple camera angles. We had the drone guys pull the footage from the drones and bring it to us, and we watched that multiple times and made the decision that we're sticking with the call that Troy Manners would advance. There was no contact on that. It's causing that spin out to happen. There was contact in the first turn, but that wasn't where he spun out. So
I think I could pull that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys aren't going to be able to see it, but this is what he's referring to as both drivers going through outer zone 2. You see the spin. Referring to.
Yeah, and we looked at so many different camera angles that we were looking for the body of the car to be unsettled or shift when the supposed tap happened, and the car didn't change behavior until it was already spinning. So sorry, I just hit my headphones. But
Oh, good.
So basically, so I guess like for a driver, if you feel that hit, if you keep going and you guys can be like, okay, well, they kept going. It obviously didn't impact his line enough to where he can't keep going. Kind of on that driver that's leading, hey, do I want to take a soccer fall or do I want to just man up and run it?
Yeah.
Man up.
I mean, nobody wants to get knocked out in competition, but at the end of the day, there's someone has to lose. And like I said, we looked at multiple angles and saw no contact. So that's the way we ruled it. And we stuck with our original decision that Troy Manners would advance on.
Well, that confirms the fact that I don't want to be a judge because I called it on the live stream like, oh, he hit him, so he spun out. So
I
You
know.
started this whole thing.
Yeah,
That's the reason you
actually-
No, just joking.
Stop. So it's all my fault. Anyway,
All good.
the other
You're gonna
battle,
get ejected from the series.
maybe. The second battle we wanted to talk about was Keanu Rodriguez versus Ryan Acevedo.
Oh,
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
Yeah, you can't call him Rodriguez.
Yeah, no, that's it. All right, I'm fired.
Yeah, his name's Rodriguez. If anyone wants to know.
I'll collect my stuff. All right.
Genius.
Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, so there was some interesting things happening there on the lead run of Keanu Rodriguez, where we saw Ryan Acevedo kind of impeding his line, but Keone kind of like try to make an initiation out of it, but then initiate late. How did you perceive that?
So all three of us in the judges tower deemed that Ryan Acevedo was impeding the lead car. So when it was a very weird initiation where all weekend Keone had been initiating like a really large manji and doing that like perfectly how he wants to. And as a lead car, that's your right to do that. And so where the issue was that after watching the footage multiple times, Ryan Acevedo jumped the line pretty hard, which is his right to do that as well. But it set him up for failure because by the time they made it to the initiation cones where Keone was already supposed to be or normally initiating, Ryan Acevedo was in front of him or next to him at least. And then the lead car initiated, and then Ryan Acevedo kind of switched sides and then initiated. It was just a very sloppy battle. We actually thought about it for a long time and replayed it over and over and over. And it was basically that Ryan Acevedo was impeding the lead driver. So,
FYI, I'm playing back that part footage again. Sorry, you guys over here on the booth can't see it, but yeah, you can see exactly what we're talking about as Keone goes ahead and initiates, and it's again a very weird initiation, but
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And if you look at it also, Ryan Acevedo initiated after the last cone as well. So it was a mess. Yeah.
Yeah, and he shimmied on angle. Then yeah, there's a lot of
No, but that battle was won and lost at the initiation.
right. Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. I mean, that was one battle where I was like, man, that's a tough one to call. I think you guys made the right call at the end of the day. It was just
I appreciate it.
I'm glad that I didn't have to make it.
Yeah. And
Better you than
for
me.
sure. Like I said, I mean, going into a drift event or a drift battle, one person is going to win and one person is going to lose. So it's tough. Nobody wants to lose, but don't impede the lead driver basically in the rest of the season.
Nice.
cool beans. Dwayne, anything else you want to share with us?
No, man, I don't really have too much. No, I got nothing.
Well, I mean,
I think you guys are doing a great job.
oh, thank you,
and,
sir.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So
Yeah.
That's another 6-pack of Yingling right there for that man.
Hey, don't do it at the event, all right?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
no.
It'll be at
After.
the island. At the
At
island.
the
Yeah.
island. Yeah.
At the
we'll catch
island.
Oh, definitely. But yeah, we've heard a couple of stories that take place over there. So if
it. Yeah, we'll
If-
have to see it for ourselves.
Yeah.
definitely.
It's an awesome place. Yeah, you guys should definitely stay there next time. It's
Yeah.
sick.
It's just that drive back and forth. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's a bit of a drive, but it's worth it for
Okay.
sure.
Wait, hey, I got a question. So
Yeah.
you know the area. What is there to eat after a long
Oh yeah.
night,
That's
a
a
long day? Because we left out of there around midnight, And we were just like,
What a burger.
No. We first went to Waffle House where we had a pet. Like the kid was scared to feed us.
Yeah, there was one kid doing the whole store, so he was my poor kid. We
Right.
left.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere else?
Man, yeah, you guys stayed in Crestview, like
Yeah.
right there. I can't think of anything. I mean, there might be like a bar that's open that serves food, but that probably is not ideal. Yeah,
We've been to
Whataburger.
Whataburger, Zach. That's where we ended
Yeah.
up going.
Whataburger and yeah, Waffle House. I mean, that's all I could think of.
No.
Yeah, Waffle House was a disappointment.
Look, we did the
Oh,
best
man.
we could, and Whataburger was the best we could do. So
Yeah. just bring some sandwiches, man, and just do it. Just there you go. That's your dinner.
yeah, true. There's a
Public
Walmart
subs.
there's a Walmart
Yeah.
right down the street.
You understand,
Buy
like-
a loaf
Yeah.
of bread, slap some.
So, like, for me
Yeah.
and Paul, like, our wives aren't there to kind of, like, make sure we plan and pack things.
Oh,
So,
okay.
like, if my wife, she always... Actually, your wife did a great job. She packed us
Yes.
this massive bag of snacks.
Yes.
Had it not
awesome.
been for that, we would not had anything all
Yeah,
day long. So
exactly.
Yeah.
he can't even order Starbucks. He has to text his wife.
Hey, shut
Hey
up.
babe.
Hey, let's
He goes-
not get
he's
into
like, hey
this.
babe.
This
what do
doesn't
I
need
get
to
from
come in here.
Starbucks? We waited 5 minutes before we could go through the drive-through at Starbucks because he didn't know what he orders.
Well, come on. That order, come on.
That was a long order, but I'm just saying, you know,
Yeah.
I can't dress myself. Anyways, that's married life. You're gonna know that soon.
Yeah, just recently got engaged, so I'm really excited
Congratulations.
about it.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Sweet. All right.
oh wow, that's hilarious.
Great.
But yeah, we need to sort of get that figured out. Maybe I don't
Dude,
know,
bring
do-
a barbecue.
Barbecue. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me
Oh,
about
I
it.
we
mean,
didn't
so-
have
We need
Salvio.
Savio.
Salvio. We didn't have him.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
The Drift HQ people. So what really sucks about leaving a drift event and like going to your hotel or whatever is also having to stop and get food on your way to your hotel. That's terrible. So if you could
Yeah.
like eat before you leave the track, then you're just straight to the hotel and that's it.
Well, there was a
I don't
couple rounds that there was some really good food at the track.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're packing
That
out
was
like
when
this.
that was when Drift HQ was here. They made a bunch of stuff, didn't they?
Oh yeah. But they had a couple. They had like
Like an
uh,
Asian priest, like
an Asian bistro and something else there last time. But hopefully we'll
okay.
get some. Waiting for somebody to have a hot dog cart.
Ben, where's
there
your
was-
hot dog
there
cart?
there was a hot dog. There was like hamburgers and hot dogs, but it was like during the day. It wasn't
Yeah.
at midnight.
Yeah. Yeah, they leave. We stay.
Yeah.
They leave.
Yeah.
They made their money, so
We need to figure out who delivers like late night.
There's nobody around.
There's
there.
nobody out there.
I know there's nobody out there, but there's
Zach would know
there's
exactly.
probably a food delivery
No,
service.
Zach says, "What a burger's it, pal?"
Yeah.
Oh.
What burger is it, pal?
actually, Zach says I tried to get pizza delivered. I was told not even if I ordered 30 pizza.
There you go.
That's rude. Wow, that is absolutely rude.
That's
Holy
insane.
no.
Oh, that's funny. And
Can we just lift the track with a helicopter?
Hey, that's possible. Hey, there's an Air Force base nearby.
Yeah,
They
right.
have the means. They have the technology.
There
You
you
just
go.
gotta get them to come on over and make it happen.
there's plenty of land west of Miami. Everybody will be out there with
Untapped. One day, maybe. But until then, we're gonna be driving up to see you guys 5 times a year
that.
for
Yeah,
sure. Actually, more than that
Yes.
because I'm gonna be the fun day in
Yeah,
December.
I'm gonna do the fun
yeah,
day as
I
well.
want to do the fun day.
That'll
I'm
be
gonna put
fun.
my car right into your door.
That's fine. I mean, that's wasteful.
But like off track.
That's
Off
what
track.
drifting is.
That means he's gonna have to like jump it because he's gonna be on a trailer. So
Yeah, it could be. We'll see. We can make that happen.
Okay, so in closing, just want to remind folks that
Well,
the next.
actually,
Go ahead.
before because we're trying to do a little like product spotlights real quick. Can you see this? So basically, this is
So to pay for his build, he has to plug Jackson's products.
So these are shameless. Well, no, see, this doesn't have Jackson's name on it. You're not supposed to say it's Jackson, okay? It's supposed to be a local distributor. You totally blew my spot. So anyways, Go Fast Industries. I bought this for the E46. So this is basically a surge tank, and then I can have the fuel surge for the 2 pumps there. Actually, it was better than I thought it was, even though I
Don't
know
do
it's
that
from
with
China.
your fingers again. Oh, yeah.
So-
Yeah, that's how it works.
Ah!
Thank God he didn't
Ah,
have
he
that.
shocked me. Damn it, forget it. Go Fast Industries. Buy it. I'm done. I can't take it. I can't take it. I can't go anywhere because I live here.
Get up and storm off the set.
Man.
Oh man.
When's the
Yeah,
next one? I
I'm
forget.
excited.
Oh, the next
It's-
Klutch Kickers, June
Yeah.
11th
Shut up.
through
He was going
13th.
to say something.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say I'm excited for the next round. We got a good break in between, so I can take care of stuff I have going on here at the shop, and I have a good break to go into. I think it's June. I don't know the exact date, but
11th through
sometime
13th.
in. There you go. So yeah, I'm really excited to go there. It's gonna be a real hot event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that.
I'm gonna bring an umbrella for sun protection.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, that weather is not big boy proofed. So, I mean, but we still go out there.
Well, I see you shaved
Hell
there,
yeah.
Jack Blackbeard. Oh.
Yeah.
He did. I just
Yeah.
noticed.
Yeah,
That. I didn't even.
He got rid of. He's no
Oh.
longer Jack Black.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It was just, getting into my mouth among other things. Wait, what?
What?
Food.
What?
Food.
Okay. Let's end it
So
there.
yeah, I had to chop it off.
What a
There you
genius.
go. It happens.
Anywho, so next event, be there. If you can't make it, join the live stream over at the Klutch Kickers YouTube channel. And also, friendly reminder, if you do want to make the trip, check out the Island Hotel. It's a wonderful, beautiful place. We checked it out. It is amazing. The sights, the sounds, and the smells too.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the most important part is you don't know who you're gonna run into unless you're actually there.
That's
and
true.
I think the memories and the moments you're gonna make at the island is gonna last you a lifetime.
Yeah, for real. I mean,
Yes.
that was, I was bummed out. I was like, man, we're not gonna see drifting today. Whatever. I guess we're gonna hang out at the hotel. And then when I get there, I'm like, that was amazing. It was such a good time, you know.
And the bar
Yeah.
grill on the beach, that's definitely the place to hang
Yes.
out.
What's crazy is that it there was a torrential downpour and a tornado and everything at the track, and then I think it's like 30 miles or something away. I don't know exactly how far it is from the track, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
And it was like sunny and not raining at all
Beautiful
at the
day.
beach. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Nerdy beach man.
I think Zach mentioned an inflatable pool.
Yeah.
Round 3 is gonna have an inflatable pool.
Oh,
Oh
That's
man.
gonna work.
Yeah, it's gonna feel like jumping in warm piss.
Actually, Zach is asking, buy more merch because they need to buy new tents for the
drive.
starting line.
Yes.
Yes.
Support
Yeah.
Klutch Kickers. Check out clutchkickers.com. Actually, you got a pair of their gloves, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a pair of their
They
gloves.
said the best.
Oh,
I
man.
got like 2 long sleeve shirts from them. I got a hat. But yeah, definitely support. I mean, Zach was very nice to allow us to have the tent as well because, we have equipment and everything, and also I'm too fragile for the sun. So thank you very much,
oh
Zach.
gosh.
I hate the sun.
Yeah, the tornado storm really just destroyed a lot. Everybody's
Yeah.
tents, basically. There was major damage too.
Yeah.
Well, if Zach is gonna bring the inflatable pool, I'm gonna bring my palm trees. Remember the palm trees I was
you
telling
do,
you
man.
about?
Yeah, you do.
We're gonna make it a tropical paradise out there at the Klutch Kickers. All right,
Yeah.
we're gonna make it happen.
I'm gonna bring
Look,
some
Can't wait to
flamingos.
see it.
Mike Castleberry mentioned the palm trees. I'm gonna give him the palm trees. We're gonna make that a VIP section,
There you go.
state of the art, one of a kind. And that it's gonna be.
Should do the live streams in the pool.
That'd be great.
We got slip and slide
Oh man.
that runs parallel with the initiation.
Yes.
So we can have people running, sliding down the initiation while the car's drifting.
There we
Is
go.
how's the insurance gonna? Will that affect the insurance?
Oh,
Good though. Anyways, we'll work on that. That's something
Yeah,
to look forward to. All right.
Well, in any case, Dewayne, thank you again, sir. Appreciate
Yes.
you taking the time to join us, answer some questions, hang out, and
For sure,
we
for
hope,
sure.
And we hope to hang out in person again for the next round. And as everybody's tuned in, thank you, folks, for joining us. And we hope to see you 2 weeks from now. And if not, catch us at the Klutch Kickers live stream. And with that
Yeah.
said, good night, folks, and we'll see you next time. Take
All right.
care.
Later.